welcome to. And this is a pre-thought on Sunday, but good listening.
Importantly, the experiential frequencies deep behind the audio. Actually, I was talking to a sound engineer here we're still here in London, and then we're getting ready to go to Ibiza. We've got a lot of great things happening. We've got the Brahmji concert coming up with with the poetry of Rumi coming up. It's really, really cool. We did this in Ibiza, and it was really fantastic. So we're going to do it in London, a bigger crowd, and then we might do it in Ibiza. We're not sure, but that's going to be a hell of a great time. So we've got a lot of good things coming up. One, a lot of people are interested in what's happening, in Palestine or the Israeli situation. So I'll just give you my outlook on that, and then also the water filter. A lot of you purchased the water filter, so congratulations on that. It's really a great way to, start rejuvenating yourself, because water is the principal key of who we are or what we're made of. So that's really cool. And then also these wonderful people here that we are going to scan and then transform their lives. So through frequencies, not through states of mind or states of being or anything like that. Those things are really, really good. They're really, really fantastic, but it's just a slower way of doing it. I mean, how many times have you gone to, like Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, Gary Vee, or any of those things? And again, those gentlemen, a lot of them were my mentors back in the day, and they still are. They got really good information, but they don't go as deep as we do with XI. So combined together, they really make complementary. It's a really good complement for individuals who want to accelerate their growth, because you've only got so much time here. So you want to live it the best possible way you can, right? And that's why these lovely people are here. So we're going to start with that, and then I'll give you my perception or prediction on what's happening out in the Israeli area, Palestine area, and then we'll talk a little bit about the water filters. So get ready, go ahead and get comfortable. I know this is a recording for you, but the frequencies are just almost as powerful. It's actually been scientifically proven. It's almost as powerful as listening to it live. And you can really transform your life just by listening. So just kick back, listen, comment in, still like the channel, still subscribe to the channel, still comment on these wonderful individuals and how fast they can transform. Alrighty. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see who is starting first. We got John, and then we'll go to Winnie. Hey, John, how you doing?
Good, Moss. How are you?
I'm doing really well. So tell me your journey with XI, or are you just new or kind of coming into it?
I'm pretty new, Moss. So I've been with XI about 15 months. I guess about
Okay.
2 years to restart my
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. I asked you that, John. Well, one for the audience, and then two, it just seems like the past 3 months, it's just like you're really like stepping up, or things are shifting, or things are kind of starting to take in place, or start to take momentum. Does that make sense for you so far, John?
sure does.
Yeah. So what is that? And I want you to understand the mechanics of it, and I'll help you understand the mechanics of it, by the way. So, and it's good for you because, in the past, people that run your patterns or your frequencies kind of work from the mind, and you basically sacrifice yourself, or you just do a hell of a lot of hard work. And maybe that's your grandfather or father. They just did a hell of a lot of hard work, but they probably just didn't get it as far as they should have or they could have. So the workload compared to the reward that they got wasn't there. Does that make sense for you?
Yes,
Yeah.
for
So,
sure.
which is cool. So take a breath in and just notice your chest. How many of you people resonate with that pattern? It's like you work your ass off, you work your fingers to the bone, it's like to the grindstone, and then you see somebody else just like whiz by you, and it's like, shit, what the hell did they do? They didn't even do the work, and now they're getting all these accolades, or they're on whatever, and they're making all this money, and it's like, well, what's wrong? I must be dumb. I must be not good enough. In your case, there's some religious value structures in there. It's like, well, maybe we were born, or maybe we did something wrong. I see some religious dichotomies, but kind of a religious push against you as well, or a pull. Does that make sense for you? Is that your mom's side?
Most definitely on my mother's side, and I was raised Roman Catholic, and went through 12 years of Catholic school education, so forth and so on.
Okay, so take a breath in again, buddy. And as we're talking, John, I'm just helping you say recalibrate your frequencies. And these frequencies, again, I was talking to the sound engineer. They're not sound frequencies. They're not like 528 hertz or anything like that. They're much, much higher frequencies. They're source code frequencies. Basically, it goes beyond your genetics, right? There's like physical frequencies of gold or sound or color and all that, and then you get into the quantum level frequencies, and then xi science goes way beyond that. I would call it the origin or the source code frequencies for you. So that's a level that I'm helping you work at, and I bring that up because the last 3-4 months for you have been, it's like, well, what's going on? Why am I accelerating when I didn't do the work, so to speak? So you're transferring from, say, a more mental work or sheer willpower, or just sheer grit, to more of, oh, my frequency has to resonate at a wealth or abundance level, or happiness level. And then my physical life, say, transforms or shifts afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a little different than your mind. Also, with your religious upbringings, with the thought of working your finger to the bone, things will start to naturally happen to you more efficiently, more effectively for you, more easy. So take that as a compliment for you. Don't go, gosh, you know what? This came too easy for me, and I didn't suffer or sacrifice. I shouldn't take that. I think that's your grandfather's frequency. Like if he didn't work at it, it wasn't worthy for him. That makes sense to you, or you weren't a worthy person. Those kind of like ideologies back in the day. So he was like a solid man, for example, and he worked really hard. Get it? And if you didn't work as hard as him, well, you weren't a real man, which is another thing for you as well, because then it messes up your masculinity. Does that make sense for you?
Sure.
Okay. And if it doesn't, just let me know. But I could just explain it another way. So breath in. And then do you have any specifics, by the way?
No.
Uh,
Well,
do
Patty Ann introduced me to, XI, and you're with me now.
Got
Hi.
it. Oh, hey, honey, how are you? It's so nice. Oh, beautiful. Well, you're training him well, Teddy Ann. Really nice job. Oh, maybe that's why too. It just seems like, so whatever Teddy Ann, her frequencies are beautiful. And by the way, Teddy Ann, I know you, more than most individuals or clients that I know. I went surfing with your son and all that, which is really cool. You look so much younger and so much vibrant, hon. Just that little shot you see is quite beautiful. So congratulations, son. Does that make sense for you, hon?
Definitely. And even since I met John, it's just everything's accelerating, and I don't know, it's just nice. It's just really nice.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, you look more vibrant and happier. So there is life after divorce, guys, if you do it right. So who's that guy that doesn't like divorce? Jordan Peterson. So don't listen to Jordan Peterson, guys. He goes, you should never get divorced. You should no. If it's not right for you guys, you need to separate. Okay, it's just more ethical that way for all of us, especially for the kids. By the way, anyway, you look so much vibrant. I think maybe that was a missing key that I didn't, connect with. So what you're doing, John, is like you're looking because you're an observer, and you go, wow, I really like that frequency. There's no, there's no toil, there's no sacrifice. It's like, shit, that's what I've been looking for all my life. So I think you kind of started to study Teddy Ann at a frequency level. And it's like, yeah, I like that frequency. So, and then, you're accelerating. So in this scenario, you're going to help Teddy Ann, and Teddy Ann's going to help you, John, go to the next level, and it's going to be more efficient. And this is where you start to see the religious patterns. There's nothing wrong with religion, but in your case, religion has to hold you back. Because again, if you didn't toil for other people and so on like that, you're just not a good person. You can't make money if you didn't sacrifice. Same thing with on the other side, the grandfather side, or it could be the same side. So what I was doing in this session was just eliminating all that, where it gives you a new path or a new way on how do I create success. Right now, sacrifice, the more I sacrifice, the more I have success, or the more worthy I am. That's a ragged, it's so rigid, and it doesn't benefit you. Now what you're doing is like, the more essence that I have, the higher frequency that I have, the more success I have. There's still hard work, but you enjoy the work and you get expansive about it instead of getting ragged like your parents did. By the way, your lineage, you have to give them a lot of credit, because they toiled through a lot to have you be here. Otherwise they would have perished and you would never be here. So we have to honor that as well. All right, my friend, nice job. Really nice. Now you're really honoring them for the right reason. Okay. We'll go to Winnie. Just one second. All right, my boss, well, actually, my wife, Pepe here. All right. So, and again, the whole topic here is cellular rejuvenation. I forgot to mention that. Like I said, Teddy Ann, amazing. She's gotten younger and more vibrant. Her skin tones has gotten more vibrant, more youthful, probably more elastic. Because as we age, we lose the elastin. So you're going to actually start looking younger and vibrant as well, just to keep up with Teddy Ann, buddy. So nice job. We'll go to Winnie. Winnie and Tara. Hey, Winnie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited.
Good. So obviously you're younger. How old are you?
42.
Okay, you're 42. Well, let's talk about that. Because I thought you were like 25, 26, 27. So we'll talk about that. Okay. That's one way. By the way, so Winnie here, the way we do like the frequency spas, or in this case, a cellular rejuvenation, hypermeditation's coming up, where you start to look younger at a very cellular level, increasing like telomeres and all the things that are needed to increase telomeres. Again, there's a lot of studies behind that. So, and Winnie is a prime example, by the way. So for Winnie, she looks a lot younger than you said. You were 42. Make sense? Right? Okay. So the reason why is something probably happened to you in your early 20s that kind of like stunted your growth, so to speak. So you basically slowed down time, right? And then, so you're 40 or however, you're in your 40s, okay? So you're 40, and then what happens is that socially, mentally, physically, you slow down time. So although your physical age is 40, time slowed down for you. So for every year of growth or cellular degeneration, your cells, slowed down. And for every year of growth, you probably grew like maybe 3-4 months. Hence the space in between. You resonate as like a 26, 27 at the max year old. Okay. So in your early 20s, something must have happened to you that kind of like stunted your growth.
Yes, I got really sick. Yeah.
Yep.
And
so,
if you don't mind me being specific,
no,
okay?
that is perfect. It'll resonate with what I'm seeing anyway. So of course,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Actually, since it was rejuvenation, I thought if you could tap into what I think might be the key to opening the flow of my rejuvenation. If you tap into my solar plexus and a little bit to the left, that's where it started. I just woke up one morning and it was like I had been stabbed with a knife, and from that moment on, I just my life just went downhill. And I'm still hurting. I've come a long way in my healing, but it's still a problem. So if you can see anything.
Right. So again, you really bring up some great points, Winnie. You're very intuitive. You understand that point, that it literally like something just clicked in you, and it's like your life took another path. Does that make sense? And that it does. So I'm just seeing it from a different perspective, although I'm seeing it in the solar plex area. But did something happen to you around 17 and a half, 18? Maybe not something happened to you, but something happened to a friend of yours or a family members of yours that kind of like derailed you a little bit. Say like you were on the road and then something happened to them, and then it like you went off to the ditch a little bit, and then by, I don't know, like early 20s or something like that, you got sick. And you kind of fell off even deeper.
Actually, it kind of started a little bit when I was 18. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I felt like I was falling, like in a spiritual way, but I didn't see it that way. But I kind of felt like, whoa, I'm falling, you know? So something did happen.
Yes. So let me kind of explain what happened, because the best way to heal yourself is just not go back in memory. What I'm helping you do is go back in time. So although did you say you're 40 or 42? Just want to be
42.
42. So you're 42. It helps me be more accurate as well. So you're 42, about 17 and a half, I would say. Something happened. God, I don't know if somebody got really, really sick or somebody committed suicide. Say a friend or something, not a friend or an associate or somebody in, in your class around that time. It literally derailed you or pulled you into, say, that death space, so to speak, and you kind of got disoriented. Does that make sense to you? Or
I'm trying to think.
Or your mother kind of got dark, or maybe depressed, by the way. So or it could be you. So something to that effect. I mean, just think about it. But anyway, so that started you. So something did happen to you around 18. So I'm just pinpointing. You might not get it now, or you might not associate it, but later on, most people go, oh shit, that's what happened. So it allows you to release and heal that pattern. Take a breath in. Notice your back. So let's release you there. And then the illness that you got. And I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to cure or diagnose. I'm just telling you what I see. So you said you got stabbed, but I actually see something pushed into you from your back. So you got stabbed from the backside, and it kind of penetrated you and it took over you. Does that make sense? How that works?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. So you might have felt it in the front because you're more aware of your front side and not so much aware of your backside. So let's reverse that for you, and let's so you've overcome, say, the disease, but the underlying pattern still exists, or that wound within you still exists, which perpetuates. And that's what you're asking, is like, can we end that pattern? And I think we actually can, because you're not using that pattern anymore, or you've become stronger from it, but you're still trying to fight that pattern that's inside you. Get it?
Exactly.
So it's almost, although it's a frequency stab, and again, it comes from another realm, not, so say you opened up a portal back 17, 18, it kind of disoriented you. And then around in your early 20s, that portal kind of meshed together, and that's where you kind of felt like you're stabbing. So that portal literally sucks the life out of you. And this is where you might have not been able to absorb food. And this is where your illness started to your health started to spiral downwards.
It actually kind of, it's been feeling like a black hole, sort of.
Because it is. It literally is a vortex so you have your reality, your body exists in one reality, and then there's realities right next to each other, okay? According to quantum mechanics and Xi, and then that reality got pushed into your reality somehow through some kind of death or something on the other side, and then it's stabbed into your reality. So there's no essence of you there. So that exists in this session. What I was doing for you is, no, let's push that reality back to in its alignment, and then you start to heal from the backside. And this is where you let go completely of whatever experience that's happened to you. And then it's not a vortex anymore. You literally will start to say regain your composure, because what happens to you is that you can't hold on to vitality, whether it's relationships, money, or anything like that. Not just your health. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah,
it's like
everything.
You hold on
it's
to
everything.
It just like it's because that vortex demands that it's like having a hole in a bucket. No matter how much you pour in it, always leak out. So
even Xi, frequencies, I feel like sometimes I can feel it during a session, and then it just gets sucked into that hole, and then I can't really grow from it, so it's frustrating.
Yeah. So just to clarify, Xi, well, it's awakened you, and that's why you're so perceptive. It's awakened you to the point where it's just like, oh, I understand what's happening, and that's why you're so perceptive. And that's what Xi does, is awakens you, and it makes my job easier to go, oh, there's a hole right there for you. So again, as we end up, we're just filling that up for you, and then you're going to be solid. And in just like in about a week or two, hon, you'll feel really, really solid, and you'll go back to your early mid-20s, and then you'll grow into a solid 40-year-old. But you'll keep the youthfulness, but the mental stage, the social aptitude, and so on will be ageless. That's why I call it ageless. You'll stay youthful, but then intelligence, social skills will be ageless for you. I'm so happy for her. Even now, you changed. Literally, she looks so different, doesn't she? It's like your vibrancy came back on. So that's nice.
I'm excited.
That's beautiful. Yeah, look at yourself in the camera, and you'll see it's like, damn. It's like that comes back. Beautiful. Nice job. We'll go to Tara. Hey, Tara, how are you?
I'm great.
Good. Anything special you want to work on, or how long have you been with Xi? Do you have a partner?
I have a partner. I've been with Xi for almost 2 years.
Okay.
And I guess I'd like to work on healing my body physically. I had my first child when I was 16, and that area of my body has not been able to heal.
Okay. And how long have you been with your partner?
Since I was 14 years old.
Got it. And how old are you now?
40.
Got it. Again, you look great for 40. So in your case, again, this is the same frequencies or techniques we use for the frequency spa or your rejuvenation process. Just like Winnie, she was younger. So in her case, something happened to her, and she literally like stopped time for some reason. Like again, she stopped or slowed down time. For you, you slow down time sense, but for you, Tara, what happened is like, okay, so you're 14, you meet somebody, you're 16, you get pregnant, and so on like that. And then what happens is like by about 20, 24, and then especially around 28, 30, you go, shit, I'm losing my life. I didn't have the experience that I should have had. So now what you do, which is really impressive abilities, it's like, shit, no, I'm digging my heels in, because I know as I age, it's going to perpetuate and go faster and faster Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So, and in your family, hon, what happens is when you, especially the women, or feminine men who are feminine in your family, or feminine frequencies are softer, when they hit about 45, 45 or 46, they start to perpetuate and they get older. That's another thing that you might have noticed. It's like, I'm 45 years old now. And that means that, again, like kind of like Winnie, it's like for every year physical time, your family ages like a year and a half, 2 years. So by the time they're 60, they're more older than what they should look like. That makes sense to you? Okay. So it's all time function.
Yeah.
So the reason why I asked about your partner, hon, since you've been with him since you were 14, and is it the same partner?
Mhm.
Or yeah, okay. So that's cool. But you know, when you're 14, I mean, you know, my parents got married when they were like 14. But that was a hell of a long time ago. That was like, shit, my dad passed away a couple of years ago. He was 95. So back then, if you were 14 and you got married, it was kind of like the norm because you didn't live that long, right? So, which is okay. But 14, but now people live to 100. So just imagine, you know, you get married at, you know, 0, you get married at 14, you have kids, by 40, you know, you're dead. So that was that lifespan. Get it? So, which made sense. But now, today, we live a lot longer. So it's like that same process just is expanded out. And take a breath in and just notice that area that you mentioned, hon, your growing area. Your growing area, the, you know, the womb area, and then the lower part of your brain, both sides. Okay. There's a disconnect. The lower part of the brain, especially for women, that's, to me, that's the biggest sexual organ. Sounds kind of crazy, but
When I've had so
most
much
people,
pain right there as well, actually, the last week or so.
probably after you signed up, you started working on it.
Probably.
So that's a beautiful thing about XI. It's like, oh, because I just tap into your higher self and go, hey, what is this? You know, what does this woman Tara need to be better at herself? I don't look at you, oh, you need this. I just tap into your higher self. So that's why it's so accurate. Anyway, take a breath in, notice this area, and then your sexual organs. For women, guys, if you want to align yourself and really be solid women, rather than trying Me Too movements and all that stuff that doesn't work, try reconnecting and you become more solid. So anyway, so what you did, you somehow got stuck in a reality that 0 to 40 was your lifespan. But you're not in that reality, huh? You're not in that time zone. Hence, you got pregnant at 16, you connected with somebody at 14. Get it? You're living like 100 years ago.
Yes, this makes perfect sense. Actually, from the time I was 10 years old, I knew that I've never lived past the age of 40.
Exactly. So
So I've always been surprised that I'm this old.
Perfect. Take a breath in. Can we reset time functions for you? Because
Please.
literally most people, it's lotions that you use, like infrared therapies or whatever. It's literally time functions that age people. So where did that come from? Just give me a second here. Just back of the head, hon. The little, you know, this neck up. So when your spine meets your skull, that area there. And then your, again, your sexual regions, hon. So if your expected life is 40, hon, you basically resonate at about 65 right now, frequency wise, or hormonally, or body part wise. That makes sense for you? Okay. So a couple things happen. So take a breath in. Again, sorry. I'm just wanting to reset you. So I ask you to take your breath in.
This is perfect. My daughter is older as well.
Okay. How old is she?
She is 12, almost 13, but
Going
her
on
body.
22 kind of
Yep.
thing. Yeah. Okay. So it'll help her as well. So we'll just bring her in. But when you change, she'll change. So,
Right.
so I don't know, there's different beliefs. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. So you, maybe in a previous lifetime, that was your life, but that life never shut off or closed out completely. So it's like an accounting year. It just never closed. And everything about that life, you brought into this life pretty much. Okay.
That makes complete sense. And I haven't, in the last few months, I felt like I haven't been able to put one foot in front of the other to keep going further. It feels like I just am stuck at that one age.
Good point. You'd be on those moving sidewalks, but you're not going with the flow.
Yeah.
Because you're going against the flow. So if you're walking the same speed as the sidewalk, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yes,
because
that's exactly how it feels.
Your life is supposed to end at 40. So you can't go past that, even if you're in living form. When I see your lifeline, it's just like, boom, 40. It's like, get it? So you're basically supposed to be dead by now.
Yes.
If like maybe 200 years ago. So whether you think it's a previous lifetime or say you're reliving your great uncle or aunt's pattern, not a grandparent pattern, but something like aunt, uncle, nephew, niece, that kind of deal. Anyway, let's get rid of that for you. And that's what I was helping you with. And you're good with that, right?
Oh, yes. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Take a breath in. Close your eyes. Okay. So in a previous lifetime, whatever, say, however you got killed in that, it sounds like a virus or a disease that just like ended your life, like 3 lifetimes ago. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. You might kind of feel, so basically you're stuck, like I said, on a moving sidewalk, and you can't move forward because time does not exist for you here. Your structure is of the old. So what I was doing is reformatting you into say a new version of yourself, a new coding, so which extends time to a normal length for human civilization or for humans like you. 80s to 100. There we go. So now you'll start to go forward. It sounds kind of weird, but you'll literally start moving forward. And you might trip at first because you're not going against the flow of time. You're actually going with time. So, how sometimes you get off the moving sidewalk and you kind of trip forward. You'll probably feel time like that. And then your daughter sees it's like, wait a second, I don't have to age or compress my life from hundreds of years ago either. There you go. And then you will start to separate from your partner in a good way, because when you're young, you start to mesh together. You know what I mean? Because you're not as solid. It's a great relationship, but it'll get even better because you're knowing who you are. He's knowing who he is, so it gives him freedom as well. Okay. We have to move on, but did that make sense for you, hon?
Yes, absolutely. Perfect sense. Thank you. That
How
was
are you
amazing.
feeling?
I actually feel like I stepped forward. My body feels different.
Yeah.
And my neck, I think I should go to the chiropractor because I think the things in my neck and the base there, like, yeah, that's different already.
Yeah, so you'll see an energy flow, which will create more energy in the womb area for you, and that's where you rejuvenate yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
We're actually
Amazing.
we might do some rejuvenation for women who've gotten pregnant and so on like that. So just revitalize them. I think it's important. So
Yeah.
um,
Amazing. Thank you.
you're so welcome. We'll go to Regina and then to Carmen. Hey, Regina, how are you?
Hi.
Hi. You're absorbing a lot from what I'm seeing. Does that make sense? You're learning a lot from the
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
individuals. Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Um, anything special, and how long you've been with XI?
Hmm. I think the first time I ever heard you, Moss, was a long time ago on Sahid. I think it was like in 2012 on a phone.
Oh wow, that's
In the beginning of time.
amazing.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kind of the observer of all of you guys, kind of watching and learning on my own, but I'm kind of like in a transformation initiation kind of feeling. And I know like the organs and the female organs, I'm needing help with that too, but because the hormones just, aren't what they used to be, but
Yeah.
and finances or whatever you see. But yeah, I've just been I know I'm here to witness a lot of the changes for everybody,
Mhm.
but I know I'm supposed to be stepping into something now too. And
Yeah.
I feel that push. And so
So the people who've been in XI for a while, they're actually coming back and reclaiming because it's like their time now, and that's what you're experiencing. So you all are say that you all were the pioneers of creating that path easier. Before, just imagine a jungle and you're trying to create a new path. So notice your again your hormones for you, hon. And then any area that you like to say rejuvenate?
everywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere,
Yeah.
hormones, face, skin.
Yeah.
But I know like my trapezius, because I work in a lab. I've been working in medical for
Yeah.
forever. But it's just really tightened back, and I
Mhm.
know I've released a lot of the family lineage stuff. I feel like I've gone through a lot of big purges, and I've
Yes,
seen
you
it.
have.
So, but I definitely don't want to go through any of their stuff. So I was like, yeah, I don't want any of that. So,
No, so a couple things. One, you're again, people back in the day, again, you're in the jungle, and it was me that just walked through, created a path. Now more and more people have, and now it's a beaten path, so it's easier, for more people. So the new people, because of you all, the pioneers, it makes it for the new people to detox less, transform faster. It's just amazing. And I kind of remember you, but you look so different, hon. You
probably no
literally,
makeup.
yeah, and you look gorgeous. No, you look very beautiful.
Thank
How
you.
old are you? Okay, do you mind me asking? It,
Mm.
just,
uh,
just rough.
50.
Huh?
50.
50s? Oh, beautiful.
50. 50.
Yeah. So you're at a stage where you've changed so much through XI that it's like, wait a second, I don't have to look like you just said. I don't have to look like, my I don't want to say your mom or dad, but your grandparents. It's like, a generation skips. So your genetics are geared more towards your grandparents than your mom and dad, that kind of
My
deal.
grandmother used to believe that age was a mindset.
Yeah. Okay. True.
She didn't believe in age pretty much.
Okay. So now you're in your 50s and you've changed so much. It's like, wait a second, I can change, which I would say your genetics on how you age, your cellular age. So again, for 50s, you look really vibrant. Okay. For 50, you have that vibrancy in you. So let's get the body, the skin, and again, that's what that cellular rejuvenation is about for you, that hyper meditation. But let's give you a head start, and others that want to have a head start as well. Take a breath in. This is where, and again, I can't guarantee anything, But I've seen enough women, like, say you're 50, if I reset you back to about 40, I want to say 42, 43, would that be okay for you?
Can we go farther back? Can
Well,
we go 40 or 30 or 35? Well, because
yes.
I'm already passing the 20-something-year-olds at work.
Yeah. I mean, okay. It's just, okay, so let's go 40. Let's go 40, okay? And it's not up to me to say it, but it's just it just makes it easier to, instead of going from 50, say, all the way down to like late 20s, I wouldn't go to 25, because for women especially, 25 is an age range that's really unstable for a lot of women. You know what I mean?
I think that 28 to 30, I keep hearing and seeing for the last year was like the 28 to 35 mark. There was kind of
I
like
can
in
see
between.
that. I can see like, yeah, 35 in between around that age, but that's a big jump. So instead of taking that big jump, let's just take a bounce and then jump off, because then it's just easier for you to shift.
You don't want to just throw me off the cliff.
Uh, I could if you want to, but it's more elegant for you. But it really allows you to understand, like, being a woman, being an elegant woman. You have that essence of, the 1950s, 1960 movie stars that just, they walked in, and they didn't walk in, they just glided in. You know what I mean? They're just so elegant. Kind of reminds me of that one song. God, was it? She used to walk in the. I'll figure out that song. But anyway, she glided across the room. She didn't walk across the room. God, what song is that? Anyway, I'll keep working on it. It'll come to me. Take a breath. But this is where you go that far back, and this is where sometimes women get their menstrual cycle back, because it's not
That
just
would
a
be
mental,
nice.
yeah,
It's all
it's not
messed up.
just mental age. It's literally your genetic structure, your
Mm,
cellular clock will be reset.
okay.
Okay, so take a breath in. Uh, it's not George Hansen. Somebody's telling me it is. Take a breath in again. So notice again the back of your head, your feminine body parts, which include your shape, your physical shape. And then let's go inwards. Give me a second. And then just notice if you feel anything, hon.
I just felt like a little tingling, kind of like a slight wrap, kind of like a presence, like right, yeah.
Yep. So for people who want to know, or people go, well, you can't do that. You can, and I have. So it's happened before. So let me just give you the science, and just again, you pay attention to your facial features, hon, your upper torso, and then your thighs and down. Okay. And this, so you don't want to look like your grandma, as you age either. You want to stay more, it's like, vibrant, like you are. So getting rid of that genetic, say, habit. When you're a young kid, for example, you're like 6 years old, you look at grandma, it's like, oh, grandma's 50 or whatever, and she looks like that. It looks like, I'm a woman, she's a woman, I'll look like that. So you pre-program yourself. You don't have to do that. So we'll just delete that. The other aspect that I was going to talk about, the science behind it, is that your cellular structure has a clock in it, and it's geared for, say, whatever age that you are. Okay. And then you age like society or your parents. So that cellular clock, we're just turning back. So at first you might feel a little older, say you're 50, but you're going to be 42, 40, 40, 40, 41, around that. So when you look in the mirror, you're going to go, what the hell am I doing looking like 50 if I'm 40, if I'm 40? So you'll look like feel like you're older, but your cells are going, wait a second, I'm only 40 now. So, and then after a while, like three to 4 months, you'll start producing cells at a 40-year-old. Get it? And that's where you start to rejuvenate. So at first, if you look older or you feel older, you go, oh yeah, that's the way I used to feel. I don't want that anymore. I wonder what my vibrant self or my youthful self will look like. And that's where you start to shift. And that's literally genetically, even hormonally, you'll go back to a 40-year-old. Okay. And this is where you might get your cycle back. And that's the sign of youth. And then from there, once you get it, you can always come back and go, hey, I want to go back into my 30s once you get comfortable with it. Okay, hon? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Very beautiful. Nice job. It's nice seeing you again, hon.
Yeah, thank
Very
you.
good.
Hi, Faye.
Faye's around here somewhere. She says hi. We'll go to, is it Carmen? It was Unknown Legend. Who sings Unknown Legend? Can you find that out? Yeah. Very beautiful poem. Can you unmute yourself, Carmen?
Oh, hear me?
Now I can. How are you, hon?
Wow, screwed.
Good. So again, cellular rejuvenation. Anything special we need to work on, or whatever I see, like carrying burdens of others to make you feel worthy? Is
I'd like
that
to start.
is that a good start? Yeah, carrying the burdens of others for you to feel worthy. That's a really deep pattern for you. Does that make sense for you?
Yes, even with
Okay. Carrying the burden of,
me.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you do, Carmen, is you give your essence to plants. Well, first you started with humans, but then they were too burdensome and they just suck the life out of you. And then basically it's like, well, I'm going to go towards plants. Some people go towards like
Animals.
like I'm just going to raise animals rather than deal with humans because they're just too messed up, too bothersome. Does that make sense for you?
Oh, totally. Yes. I don't want to, that's a losing battle with humans.
Yes, that's my point. You're right. So take a breath in. All right. So say humans. So you've got an energy pack. Okay. And I'm just working on you on the back end frequency wise. Notice your veins and arteries, son, especially the ones that radiate off your neck and into your backside. Say you have like 100 watts of whatever, energy. Okay. And the numbers don't mean anything. It's just for clarity. And then if you work with humans, it's like, shit, that human is going to take like 90 watts of me. So if you hang out with humans, you just get drained. Okay. So then you go, well, I'll hang out with animals because they take less energy for me to support them, or plants take less energy for me to support them. But the point is, son, is that you're still using your energy to support and care for plants. Get it? Or humans, or whatever. So here's another way of doing it, which is more natural for you, and plants really love it. It's symbiotic. Okay. Or I guess yeah. That's more of a water transfer, but I don't know what they call it. But anyway, symbiotic. So take a breath in. So for you, what you want to do is you want to You want to create energy on your own and not give it to anybody. Okay. For some reason, you know, because you're such a nice and beautiful person, you basically go, well, I have to give of myself. You know, that's being nice, right? Or I have to help people, which is totally cool. You can help people, but you don't want to give your essence or your energy to them. You want to help, physical help. But here's the deal. Most people give their essence and then they get drained, like you, and then you don't want to hang out with people, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah. So take a breath in, and we'll go to how that started for you. But this is more important for you from what I see. Let's just reset that balance because you're almost there anyway, where the plants that you take care of, okay, start to help you understand your brilliance. Does that make sense? As a human.
Right. So I'm receiving information from them and energy.
Yes, you're receiving information, right? Or a consciousness that these are just plants, okay? And then, so they're plants and they don't need human frequencies.
Right.
Get it? So when you do that and you nurture them to be just plants, for example, they allow you to go, well, I'm human and human frequencies are this. So then they don't want anything from you other than just that love rather than your frequencies. Because so basically, if you had pets, for example, your pets would slowly look like you. Or if you had liver issues, for example, your pets would have liver issues. Does that make sense for you? You might have had pets like that, right? They mimicked what you had. Most people do that, by the way. It's like they burden themselves so much, they hold on to so much burden, or they want to give away. It's like, now I need a pet to carry all my burdens that I've held on to. So you don't want to do that. You're not that bad, but take a breath in. Did you take care of your grandparents or your mom? It seems like you were more of a mother to your mom than your mother was to you. That kind of feel.
Even though I wasn't always next to her, but at one point, yes, I was very desperately flying over to be with her and help her out.
Yep.
And mentally, I was
there. Yep. Which is literally a drain, especially when you were like 3 or 4 years old, from what I'm seeing. You know, a young child carrying the burdens. Okay. Say like, okay, a woman of your stature having a backpack that weighs like 200 pounds kind of gets burdensome, and it takes a lot of energy because you're a young child. What the hell are you doing with the burdens of an adult? Even if it was like an enlightened adult, it's not your cup of tea. Since I'm here in London, it just doesn't work out for you. Get it? It's not your cup of tea. So can I help you disconnect from that? Okay.
Yes.
You might not like humans a bit more, which is okay, because you're recalibrating yourself. You might not even want to escape into plants or animals because that's what you do. You'll just go, I'll just be here on my own. And this is where you regenerate yourself and you reconnect and you have a strong identity of who you are. And then you're really vibrant, which is really cool. Your essence flows through. And then your light, okay? Your light is the key, hon. Your light shines brighter. And when your light shines brighter, no matter how many plants or animals or humans that are experiencing that light, it doesn't matter. They're not taking your energy away. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. And I'm not spilling it out anymore.
Yeah, take a breath in. So for example, that energy source that say shines your light, you're giving away your energy source. And guys, girls, ladies, women, men, not just Carmen here. If you want to help people by sharing your light. not your energy source. Okay. Otherwise, you age really, really fast, by the way. And it's not rejuvenating. Because now, say you have a battery pack, and it's only, say you have a phone, one battery, and then you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 phones for you back in the day, 4, 5, 6 people that you had to take care of. It's a lot of energy that you have to keep recharging. Does that make sense? But what happens if you clean up, your light gets brighter, and then no matter how many people stand underneath that light, you're totally fine. That's how you really help. And then the cool thing about that is like, her light is really bright. And then you help them go, and then you go, wow, I remember being that bright too. And it's really more beneficial that way. Even for plants, you'll see that your plants will grow better, faster. Okay. Breath in. That's what you want, right?
Yeah. And when you mentioned about having a strong identity, that clicked in my list of things to talk about, but I couldn't quite pick a phrase.
Yep. So now you know who you are. You don't need to help people to find out who you are. You help people because you know who you are. And it makes better sense for them.
That's
because it makes better sense for you. Because it's like, I know who I am, and you need to go that way. So, because you've got knowledge on how to find out who you are, right? Because you've already done it. So it makes, you've got experience knowing who you are, and then you just go, boom. Get it?
Got it.
So it's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, quite beautiful. By the way, your face changed. So those commenting in, again, how did that feel for you?
Yeah, I feel like an upward energy rather than scattered in a good way.
Or burden. Yeah, beautiful. And it'll get better and better for you. Yeah. Okay, huh? Very nice. Very cool. Yeah, you're so welcome, sweetie. By the way, your wrinkles literally disappeared. Seriously. It's kind of crazy. No offense, but yeah.
They come and go. It's interesting. So
yeah,
I mean,
so you're coming into your own self now. Yeah, nice job. Very nice job. So very quick, but yeah. Alrighty, so we'll move on. I don't know how much time. How much time we got, Demi? By the way. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about what I was going to talk about. So a couple things, guys. So, we were talking about water, right? Water and plants and so on like that with Carmen there. So if you use proper water, you're gonna hydrate better, and your plants are a really great test. And that's where the Hydriva filter that we've only got a limited supply, guys. I think almost half are gone. We've just got a bit more. So, and then once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, but it's really, really cool. So what that does is the science behind it. If you go to what is it, xiwater.org, xiwater.org, and the team can put it on for you. It'll give you the science behind it. It's based around Tesla technology. The guy was amazing. He's a great inventor, but he's one of those inventors that pushes against, say, the boundaries of, say, what the political system or what the system wants you to be. So he's kind of like been pushed out. So he was so excited to help, because we have, the shortages in California and so on like that, right? Because they use a lot of water, and with this system, they would have used, say, half as much water for even more robust plants, but they didn't like that, and they literally he had to escape to Ecuador. So kind of crazy the technology. It's a really intriguing seminar that he put on that test on the technology that he invented, and we've got it's got 2 patents, which is really crazy for this type of water filter, and it really works. You can really taste the difference. So and some people go, well, it's too hard to install in your water line or anything like that. It's really not. It's just you put it on your main water line. They've got instructions for that on how to do it, or if you're a DIY, you can. It's really easy. You just cut off your main water line and just put that in, and plug it in. It's pretty easy to do. Or you can always hire a plumber, or you can do what I do. Is literally, you've got like 2 bottles of water. You put the filter in between, and you just pour the water into the other bottle. It's literally that simple, and it just filters it through, and then you'll be able to taste the difference. I don't have it in front of me now, but usually we carry it with us all the time, and because the water that's in the bottle here, it's pretty much dead. It sits, I don't know, the shipping area, they bottle it, it sits somewhere. It's again, it's stale water, and this regenerates the water, and it makes it more slippery. I guess that's the best way to put it. So it aligns all the structure of the water, so it creates structured water, not just structured water, but frequency infused water, just like the way I do it. And then what happens is that when it's structured water, it becomes more slippery, or more watery, or more wet, so to speak, and then it absorbs into your cells. So take a look at it, and again, you go to xiwater.org, not .com. Okay. Again, we've just got a couple left. About half our inventory is left, and there's not much in that inventory. Take a look at that for it. All right. And then the next thing I was going to talk about is what's happening, with Israel and Hamas and so on like that. And this is just my point of view. I could be way off, but, nowadays, back in the day, it was about the Ukraine war, and it's atrocious on, what happened in the Ukraine. It's atrocious on what's happening in Palestine and Israel and so on. But that war has been going on for a long time, and it started, I think, if I'm correct, I might get the dates wrong, but back in the 1940s. Before then, there wasn't a lot happening there. But then, no offense, guys, but I'm just telling you what I see. The Americans and the Britons, they started coming in, and that's where the wars started to happen. Okay, and they've been in warring ever since. Although it's kind of funny where, well, did you notice that when COVID was happening, there was no wars? It's like, did those people that hate each other, did they just like, well, fuck, let's just take a break on? Is that what happened? Or again, was there political agendas, behind all these wars that are happening? It usually is. It's not really about, say, the situation that we hear in the media. It literally is about a deeper political agenda. And again, there's lots of, say, factual documentaries about the underlying political agenda that you don't hear in the media. And because of that, I ask is like, well, is it really Hamas that's really doing that? Again, I'm not saying, what they're doing is right. It's terrible. And then look at that media outlet. I mean, look how sensational they made COVID, right? Look how sensational they made the Ukraine war. I mean, is there an agenda that the media outlet is trying to push out to you? Because we really need to look at the first principle reason on why stuff happens. Otherwise, we'll just create this cycle. Okay, so we need to step back. Yes, it is atrocious on young kids, women, children dying or getting killed or beheaded or whatever is happening. But again, let's look, and I'm not going, well, they deserve it or anything like that, because no human deserves anything. And that's the level that I want you to get at. Is this at a human level proper? And then we have to look at the underlying reason on why it's gotten to this situation. Why has it gotten worse? Why has it gotten more sensationalized? Now that there no time in history has it been that, well, women and children get abused or killed, and right, the masses. And even in the Ukraine, it was focused on, say, the public getting killed off and so on like that. Why is that happening? Why are these two wars so different in that essence? Before, both sides would leave, even the bad side would leave women and children alone. But now they just focus on, say, the masses or the public. right? Because it gets more views, it riles more people up. So whether it's true or not, and it could be true, but again, what is the underlying reason or forces that are going, hey, we need to attack, the public now. And now it's like, well, since the Ukraine war didn't get, say, that much, say, push or anger, although it did a little bit, then it just died down. Now it's like, well, shit, let's amp it up a bit, right? Because society is too numb. So instead of like going, Hamas is bad and, Israel is bad, Israel is good, and because that's what they're trying to get you to do. And again, I don't like either side, because either side is in a war that's killing humans. And that's where we all should be. It's like, we should not be doing that. Let's step back. Okay. Is there underlying reasons on why that war started out of the blue in the first place? And then you have to think about, how did Hamas get into Israel that deep and bring in bulldozers and all these things to destroy that much and Israel has the highest level. They're even better than the American CIA, or I would say even the Russian CIA. They've got more advanced, say, superiority in military intelligence, and then just a group of people just come back into their country, and it's a small country. How could they not figure all this out, right? Something should have been sent off. An alarm should have buzzed. It's like, what the fuck's happening there, right? Who missed it? And how could you miss something that huge? So those are the little things that I wonder about. So was it an inside job? Was it, say, the US or Britain or whoever that kind of instigated that? It's like, you know what? We need to start a war. We need to start to create chaos in the world. And it doesn't matter where, because the people that start those kind of things, they don't fucking care who dies or who doesn't. They have an agenda to perpetuate, and they want you to get out of their way, right? So what they do is it's a magic trick. It's like, hey, look at this, look at these atrocities while we're doing this, right? And then you have no idea of what's happening over here while they're doing all this stuff, and you're fighting for your right, and you're fighting for, saving the kids and all that stuff. And over here, they're just killing off more millions. That'll happen in the future for you. So that's the kind of things that we need to really step back and really, really analyze and go, no human life should be just like child's play. We're not pawns in the game of life anymore. We're all sentient beings, and that's what we should be at. Political leaders, we cannot be used again as pawns in your game. That's not right anymore. It's not right. It's never been right. But at this level of consciousness, you just don't do that kind of shit, guys. Figure it out, or go and war with your own families, not other people's families, right? And the biggest key is again, all these countries that are involved in other countries, if we all step back and figured out our own selves first and figured out our own issues first, and that's what XI does, right? It's like, my spouse does this, my partner does this to me, the government is doing this to me, and what I tell you all, I go, hey, what patterns are you running? Let's solidify you. Let's create strength in you, right? And then you become really powerful. And then your spouse, you either let them go, or they say they get forced to change. How many of you have happened that way, right? They fucking get forced to change no matter what happens to you, right? So, and that's what all these countries should do. So instead of going in to other countries and pretending that you're there for peace and keeping them, keeping freedom alive and all that bullshit, you're not. Step back. The US should step back. They should demilitarize over the 100 countries that they're in. Russia should step back. China should step back and deal with their own shit. China has the highest rate of suicide now. right? Kids kill themselves, parents kill themselves because after their kids kill. It's like, figure that shit out. Look at the US. Holy crap, there's so much atrocities going on within the US, within the political system. Child abuse, child trafficking, homelessness, illnesses. More kids are dying. More kids are dying of depression and suicide here in the US. London isn't any better. So any of those major powers, what the fuck happened to you guys? That's not impressive. If there was an alien race that come here, it's like, who the hell are these leaders? And look at these leaders. No offense, Sleepy Joe, but Jesus Christ, guys. And look at all the other leaders in other countries. Look at the guy in Canada. Those aren't leaders. Leaders don't force you to follow them. Leaders resonate and you want to follow them. That's the true leadership. So in today's society, there is no true leadership. And I always think back to Cyrus. There's been other great leaders that have been that way. But Cyrus, again, and he's even in the Bible, such a great leader. And this is the kind of leader Cyrus was. He conquered countries. He conquered lands. But here's the key. He was so cool about it that other countries, even if he didn't want to conquer them, okay, they knew that Cyrus would protect him. So this is what you want to be. This is true leadership. It's like, hey, Cyrus, can you conquer our country? And they would literally give him gold or whatever he wanted so he could rule the country, because that country knew that they would be protected under Cyrus's rule and they would not be impressed. They would not be oppressed by them. How many countries do you know now, or how many political leaders do you know now that do that, to give that country its own freedom, its own religious freedom, its own political freedom, everything, right? When somebody else controls it, right? It's like, no, you got to do it what we do. And it takes billions a day, especially in the US, $2 billion a day to run all the military posts that they have in the world. And I'm just talking about the US. Russia, China, I'm sure they spend billions and billions as well. So, and that's how you solve the world. Literally, step back, let go, fix your own house, whoever you are. And one last thing, if they're so concerned about world peace and, human rights and so on, fuck, why aren't they doing anything about North Korea? I mean, really, right? And that is atrocious down there, or some other African countries where they just so they castrate people, they castrate women, they skin people alive. It's crazy. What's going on there? Well, there's no economic value there, so why should they go there? So move away from the money and go towards human rights and human peace and human integrity. And when you do that, your money will follow through. And it's not dirty money that doesn't destroy and kill you as well. Okay. Because your families, that, again, those peoples that run those families, they're fucked up. They're the blue blood, they're more fucked up than ever before. And again, they're not even human anymore, guys. So we can go into that, but that's a whole different thing. So that's my thought on it. All right, guys. So thanks for watching Moss on Sunday. Notice what you notice the details, and let's get people exponentially intelligent so we don't have to run this bullshit for another century or so. We can change and transform really fast. And whether we like it or not, we're going to change and transform really fast, despite what everybody else thinks. All right, guys? Peace.